Welcome to Inside the Ring. I am your host, Max Kellerman. That is our insider, Mike Coppinger. That is former heavyweight contender and now world-class trainer, Malik Scott. And that is, he's the football guy. No, he's a boxing guy.
Yeah.
That's Shady.
Boxing guy, that's right.
Shady McCoy. And it is time, without further ado, for the lead hook. Now, normally, we wait until much later in the show. Much later. Later, not the A block, but way down. And we do Cop's Corner, right? We do, Mike Coppinger brings you news. However, today, Mike Coppinger has a cop bomb. Or what do we
I don't know, you said I have singles. It's like, what is this, a double? Or?
This is big news, actually. But go ahead, tell the people.
Man.
All right, so I am hearing from reliable sources that Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, yes, more than 10 years later, a rematch is being seriously discussed to take place next year on Netflix. And Netflix, of course, is very much into eventizing these, whatever they put on, whether it's boxing or tennis. And so far, they've done Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. They just did they just did Canelo against Crawford. And obviously, a rematch between Mayweather and Pacquiao, even at this stage, would classify as a big event for Netflix. And I think is a real possibility this is going to happen. Mayweather is now 46, I believe, and Pacquiao's around the same age. But look, this was the biggest fight in boxing history when it happened, and I think all these years later, a rematch, if it happens, especially after the way Pacquiao looked in July against Barrios, there would be serious interest.
Yeah, I mean, when people say the biggest fight in boxing history, you know, if you don't adjust for inflation, et cetera, or tickets sold, et cetera, you know, Joe Louis and Max Schmeling, the rematch, Ali and Frazier, the first fight. These were the biggest fights in boxing history. But Mayweather and Pacquiao was easily the biggest fight of its era, of the generation. And it was the highest grossing fight of all time.
By far.
Because it had 4.4 million pay-per-view buys at $100 a pop. Do the math, right? It's interesting because Netflix is obviously in the business of, you said, eventizing.
Yes.
Everyone, they want enormous events that become shared experiences. In a way, in this day and age, partly because of delivery systems of content like Netflix, everything is so niche. You know, everything is so compartmentalized that there's very few shared experiences. It's one of the reasons that the NFL is such a big deal, because the NFL can get tens of millions of people to watch the same thing at the same time. That almost never happens anymore. Except it happened with Crawford and Canelo.
That's right.
It happened with the exhibition between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. They're looking for names and events that can capture the imagination of the public and get literally tens of millions of people, really around the world, to experience the same thing at the same time, which almost never happens anymore. It's a big deal.
But when you talking about this fight, right? I mean, great names. And is it like a thing of, we're talking about the money it's going to generate? Yeah, it's probably going to generate so much money. But if you're a true boxing fan and you love the sport of boxing and you see that Netflix put it together, Canelo and Bud Crawford, two elite fighters at one of their peaks of their career, and now we talking about this, let's just keep it honest. Let's keep it a buck. When Pacquiao fought Floyd, even was it 2014? What was that? When did they fight for that big fight? 2015. Whatever it was, when they fought. And it was so hyped up, and I couldn't wait. And it wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
It was past its expiration.
Because they should have been fighting. They both at their peaks, and they're like, okay, Floyd, Pacquiao. They didn't give us that. So now we're going to fast forward it, and we're going to fight again?
The result would have been the same. The result would have been the same.
I mean, I agree.
But you can argue
I know
it.
you were going to say that,
You can argue it, though, man.
No. I think I would have always favored Mayweather to win the fight. The point is that because it happened after its expiration date, we will never have the actual answer. You and I might agree, Mayweather was too long, too good a boxer, you know, naturally bigger guy and better defense. But we will never actually know the answer to that question because we never got to see it 5 years earlier. Now, Shady makes the point, Malik, that this is not like Crawford-Canelo, and it's not. But it's also not exactly like Jake Paul and Mike Tyson.
It's nowhere near that stuff.
So what is it? What are we? Because Netflix doesn't seem to care if this is more of kind of a carnival or an exhibition, or if it's like the greatest, biggest fight in the world. What they're looking for are eyeballs, right? Where does this fall, Mayweather and Pacquiao, on the most legitimate Crawford-Canelo side of the spectrum, or the kind of sideshow Jake Paul-Mike Tyson side of the spectrum?
To piggyback off of what Shady was saying, I actually believe people will feed into it heavy because we're talking about two of the elites of all time. They both are extremely technically sound. They both are known for what they have done in the ring. Obviously, Mayweather got the huge promotion market behind him. So does Pacquiao. I just think it does numbers. And I also would be like a huge fan of it. I think the way how Floyd is looking lately, whether it's in the gym and the way how Pacquiao has been looking in his last fight, I'm really into the fight if they're going to do it again, especially if it's going to be on the best stage in the world, the ring, the Netflix, and the same type of numbers going on.
There is something interesting that Pacquiao just got a draw on the fight I thought he won against a world-class fighter at the age of 46. It's insane. And before that, he beats Keith Thurman. That's already 6 years ago after the age of 40, giving Thurman his only loss and knocking him down in the process in a great fight. That's insane. Floyd has not been competing on that level in years. Do you think that changes the way people look at this? Like, we all saw Floyd beat him the first time. And a lot of people like Malik and I all think Floyd would have won even had they fought 5 years prior to that. But now maybe have things tipped in Pacquiao's direction a little bit?
Yeah, Max, I think that with Pacquiao coming off of the draw against Barrios, I thought he probably won too, close fight. But I think in some strange way now, this rematch, if it was ever going to take place, now is kind of the perfect time because Mayweather won the first fight, obviously. Yes, Pacquiao had the torn rotator cuff, but Pacquiao now 46, Mayweather now 48. Malik says that, yes, Mayweather has not fought professionally since 2001, what was it? 21 or no, 17 actually. I think Conor McGregor.
That's an exhibition.
I think Conor McGregor 21 was the Logan Paul exhibition. But yes, with how Pacquiao's looking now, I think this is kind of the perfect time for this fight if it's going to happen. And I've been very critical of the Jake Paul Gervonta Davis exhibition, Jake Paul Mike Tyson. This one I like because they're both at the same level. I think.
Did you like Roy Jones and Mike Tyson together?
This is the same.
That was fun actually.
Yeah, Roy Jones and Mike Tyson.
This is the truth. This is really hurting boxing though. This is really hurting boxing for real though. If you really love boxing, right, and you're gonna pay your hard-earned money to see a boxing fight, I think we worrying about the names. Floyd Mayweather, I'm gonna watch it because it's Floyd. Pacquiao, I'm gonna watch it because it's Pacquiao. But when you have an event with Netflix and you got Floyd versus Pacquiao, it's like, come on, okay? Jake Paul and Tank, people gonna watch it just because of whatever it is. Jake Paul and Tyson. Like, we are killing the game. Instead of having a real legit fight, everybody want to see like a Bud and Canelo, you're coming to watch a boxing match. We coming to hear some names. That's what we come to watch.
You are so wrong, Shady. This is Floyd Mayweather, the most technically sound, gifted fighter of all time, going against a Hall of Famer, one of the technically sound most fighters of all time, Pacquiao. And they're just doing it at an older age. I am so into this. I am so into this.
It is a fair fight.
It's a fair fight. The point is, I'm going to be upset if it don't happen.
They're around the same. Let me add one thing to that.
Yeah.
I watched Bernard Hopkins fight so late into life, right? In his late 40s. It looked like he could go forever. He beat Tavares Cloud.
How old was he when he beat Pavlik?
I mean, he was in his 40s, so I forget the. But by the time he beat Tavares Cloud, I want to say he's 47, 48, and I'm like, he could do this forever. Then he fights Joe Smith. Good puncher, but not on a Hopkins level. And had he been 49 when he fought Joe Smith, I still think he would have won. He got knocked out of the ring, the way like Rocky Marciano did Joe Louis. He got knocked out of the ring, out, by a guy who really is not on his level, but at this point he was 50 or 51. In other words, there comes a time where no matter how good you are, you just can't do it anymore. So I know they're around the same age, but in fact, Floyd is 48. He's not 46 even, which is super old. Super old, ancient. He's 48, and Pacquiao is still competing at a world-class level. It does, pique your interest because you're like, at a certain point, is Floyd just even too old to compete in a boxing ring?
But he's proving my point. The first thing you said was, man, we talking about Floyd Mayweather, one of the greats. Yes, true.
Yes.
Pacquiao, he's one of the, that's true. They are one of the greatest, but they're not great no more.
They are. Pacquiao is still competing at a high level and like at these young guys, man. And Floyd would do the same.
All I'm going to say is Pacquiao's my favorite boxer.
They're not who they was, Shady. We know that.
I want to watch an entertaining fight. I can't go and watch a fight on Netflix like Canelo and Crawford, right?
And then that's the downgrade, is what you're saying.
It's a different thing, though. It's a different kind of thing.
And I'm saying we're basically going to watch this fight because of the names.
No, what I'm saying, but let's look at the different categories. There is true, just like curiosity, Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, right? That's ridiculous, but it's interesting to people, but it's not the same thing as Crawford and Canelo. We realize that as good as boxing gets, right? But somewhere in the middle, there are two ancient fighters who are rivals, who fought, once upon a time in a big event, and who appear to be still maybe on the same level as they descend because they're getting older. And that's not the same thing as Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, or even Mike Tyson and Roy Jones. It's something more than that because Pacquiao's been competing recently at a high level.
Because of what Pacquiao just did against Barrios, that to me changes everything with this.
Yes, that's what I'm
That to me tells me, okay, Pacquiao can still compete with the best at welterweight, a very thin division. You could argue that Pacquiao should be a title holder right now. And if Pacquiao can do it, probably Mayweather can do it too. Mayweather did win the first fight. And I think he's probably still fresher.
Try this, Shady. Try this, okay? It shouldn't. But if Pacquiao were to beat Floyd in this exhibition or fight or whatever they're going to call it, do you think it shouldn't? But do you think that affects either one of their legacies?
No,
not at all.
No, we talking about grandfathers. We talking about grandfathers fighting each other. That's what we talking about.
It's not. Come on, man. Wait. I said, it's the zero line. Little bit.
No.
I'm not saying it's a transformative thing, but to say it doesn't affect it at all is probably not right, and I'll tell you why. Because if Pacquiao should win, for example, there will be those who say, well, when Mayweather beat him the first time, they were both past their primes. Certainly Pacquiao, who had been destroyed by Marquez, knocked out, was not the world-beating terror. Yeah, and the rotator cuff, but he was a world-beating terror 5 years before that when he was running through
Floyd
not just an old De La Hoya,
right,
but also Cotto and Hatton and beating them worse than Floyd was beating them, right? That's when we wanted to see the fight. Happens 5 years later.
Right. Yeah.
So people will point to that and say, and then when they were much older than that, but the first fight wasn't like
they both was in their prime.
Yeah, and neither was it lopsided.
It wasn't lopsided.
Floyd Mayweather won decisively, but he'll even tell you that was one of his trickiest fights.
It was an 8-4.
That's the only reason why I think it shouldn't be a second fight, because to me, Floyd handled him so easy.
But think about what
I know
Max is saying.
Pacquiao said otherwise.
But what I'm
the
saying
visual,
is if Pacquiao wins a rematch, because I agree it's like with an asterisk, but if he does that, it will affect people's thinking a little bit. Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard, it's not nearly the same. They were in their 30s, not their 80s or whatever these guys are in now, but Hearns got Leonard in the rematch, even though it was called a draw, and people look at Hearns a little differently vis-a-vis Sugar Ray Leonard than they did before that fight.
But that was more competitive, I would say. Floyd hasn't fought in years, correct?
Yep.
Okay, another thing is, they didn't fight when they're supposed to fight. And everybody said, hey, this fight wasn't what we thought it would be, correct? Right? Okay.
Right.
And then now you're going to fast forward, you think it's not going to be disappointing?
Floyd was Floyd.
And
but Pacquiao wasn't Pacquiao.
Yeah, and these dudes is grandpops. We're talking about two legendary grandpops fighting.
They're in their 40s, not their 60s.
Bro, Floyd's going to be
They're in their late 40s, Mike.
Floyd's going to be 50. He's going to be
Floyd. Pacquiao's 46. That's technically mid-40s.
That's true.
What is Floyd? 48? Floyd's 40. Come on. I'm gonna watch it because Floyd is the pound for pound one of the best of all time. I'm there for that.
If it happens, by the way.
But we talking about names. If a couple years ago when they fought, it was a disappointment. Why do you think now that these guys are grandpops and all about to turn 50 in 2 years, it's not going to be the same?
Because they're slower down.
Yeah,
so they have to take more chances, hypothetically.
What are we talking about?
Yes, bro. Floyd can't move how he used to move.
Come on,
so
man.
that's a benefit for Pacquiao. Pacquiao can probably catch up to him.
Get y'all money, Netflix. All right, get y'all money, though. But we can't. You can't go here and promote freaking Bud Crawford and Canelo.
You look at
and everybody watch, oh my God. And now we talking about two grandpops. But they've gone there and wrestle around for 6 rounds.
Why not? Why not? You can't distinguish for yourself. Obviously, you can. That Crawford and Canelo is one thing, and this is something else. You can't why is it? It's obviously not confusing to you. So why are you afraid it's confusing to the general public?
My thing is this.
No, he's afraid the general public.
That's the legitimate point.
Into
What you're saying is this kind of event confuses the general public and makes them misunderstand what boxing's about and who's actually good.
Thank you.
And the current state of the game, because it muddies the waters for the casual. That's an argument.
I disagree.
I'm gonna want the people to watch like David Benavidez fighting somebody that's elite, right? I want to see that.
You think they'll be turned off?
No, they know the difference, Shady. They know the difference, bro.
He's saying the casuals don't.
The casuals don't. They hear
no credit, huh, bro?
how the hell is this a thing where when Netflix, they promoting Jake Paul to fight these guys, they blew this whole thing with Mike Tyson. Like, it was like a real thing.
Let me make
and then they fight, and it's like, oh, well, you knew this was about to happen.
Right,
Shady, let me make the
the
counter.
sale still was good.
Yeah.
Let me make the counter. You're arguing. I think that's a good argument, actually.
Yeah, he's
that
saying
you
enough
don't
for
want
boxing.
to. You don't want to turn people off to boxing or give them the wrong idea about the sport with this kind of fight. But what about the argument that should it turn out to be, and Malik makes a good point, sometimes when guys get older, the defense isn't the same, the reflexes, it's a little more action. Let's say it turns out to be an entertaining night. Isn't there the argument that that can turn on casuals? There are so many hundreds of casuals for every one real boxing fan, right? Don't you want to reach out to that audience to grow the boxing audience? Or is your argument that this will only turn those people off? Isn't there a chance it can pull them in?
I'm just scared that I don't want to, the next time we have a Netflix big fight, right, that people won't tune into it. Because now, right, you're selling me on this pitch of this great fight because of the names, and then I watch it, I wasted my money. I'm getting my tickets for free.
Shady, they wouldn't
And I'm
do
looking
it.
at the people that's not getting their
They
tickets for
would
free.
not
It's
do it if it
Netflix,
was
it ain't
any
pay-per-view.
names.
You know what I mean? No,
It's not pay-per-view.
I'm talking about going to the fight, Max. I'm talking about going
He's
to the
talking
fight.
about the whole thing,
When
getting
I
up for it, spending money to go
you about
to
to
and
spend
everything.
$30,000 for these seats, and I'm being there free, and good or
Them
bad,
the
I'm
only
chilling.
two
And watch,
names that
Shady's
could
gonna
do
be
that,
hammering
Shady.
people to get free tickets.
It's look, all I'm saying is that I love boxing, though. And I want to go see really good fights. Listen, so y'all didn't, listen, hear me out, and I'm done with it. Let's real quick.
From seeing a good fight.
Y'all didn't want to fight at the peak of your careers, and y'all both was the man. Okay, cool. Then y'all wait 5 years to fight them. Okay, cool. We'll watch that.
Now
okay?
y'all want us to-
That was disappointing. Now you telling me you want us to watch you fight when y'all both old as shit? Hell no.
They're the
Hell
only
no.
two names that can do that.
Man,
I get what you're saying just now with Floyd and Pacquiao.
Mike Tyson.
If this was any other names, I would get you all the way.
Shady just made a great point. And
Thanks,
it's this.
Max.
It's
Come on,
this.
Max.
Thanks, Max.
When people saw the first Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, 5 years past the expiration date, they said, oh, man, I got had. Right?
They didn't just say that. They sued.
Yeah, I got
they
had.
sued?
I got had.
Dang.
And there's an expression.
There's lawsuits.
And there's an expression, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, right? So that's really what you're saying. Like the first fight wasn't good to begin with,
It's
and
worth
now
it.
we're gonna. But
It's worth
here's
it for the sake of the
difference.
good undercard. Shady.
Here is the difference,
Come on, the
Shady.
undercard gonna be bomb, bro.
Here is the difference. Yes, you pay for Netflix, but people don't think about it like that because everyone has Netflix, right? So if it's not on a pay-per-view thing where you're shelling out extra money, where you have it already, it's like in the old days when it was on the networks. How does it really hurt anybody? You're paying for the service already, and now you get this content.
It's there.
You're not paying extra for it.
See, and I'm
talking about the get up.
You've been in boxing, and you've been in the boxing business for years, right? I haven't. I've just been a fan of boxing. And everybody's not getting free tickets to go to the fight. Everybody's not going to be commentating the fight, Max, like you are.
They
You know what I'm
will
saying?
view it from
Netflix
their
means
home.
50
They get
million
to view
people
it
or
from their
100
home.
million people are going
Listen,
to watch
man.
the fight. 50,000 are going to be present, not maybe 20,000, are going to be present, and 50 million are going to watch it on TV.
And also,
facts.
we have to see if this even happens. You know, it's in talks right now. It's not done yet.
Yeah.
Pacquiao announced earlier this month that he was going to return in late January. We heard he was looking at a title fight, maybe Rolly Romero. Since then, WBA has ordered Rolly to fight Giasov. So let's see what happens. We don't know if this is going to happen in January, if it happens at all. But I do know that it's real, it's in talks, and where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah, Shady, you're saying, I know what you mean. When you look at Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao rematch, there it is on the screen. You say it's not even really a rematch because that's not Floyd anymore, and that's not Pacquiao anymore.
Well, that
I get
wasn't
it.
Hearns
But
when
they
it
can
was,
sell.
and that wasn't Sugar Ray Leonard
No,
when
but
it
it was a better approximation
It still
of
was
them
boxing.
in their 30s than these guys in their almost 50s.
I'll
at
pay
this
money to
point.
see it.
Boxing rite of passage for guys to fight well past their primes. There.
Are you used to watch boxing? Or not boxing, wrestling? You
Yeah.
ever like wrestling? Who's like one of your greatest wrestlers you love?
When I was a kid, Jimmy Superfly Snuka, come on.
So give me somebody else. I don't know.
Jimmy Superfly Snuka, are you
Ultimate
kidding?
Warrior. Ultimate Warrior.
My mother got dinner on the table like, Ma, hang on. Jimmy Superfly Snuka's about to come off the top rope.
Ric Flair. We said Ric
Don
Flair.
Marco.
Hold on. We said
I
Ric
knew when I said
Flair and
Ric Flair.
another guy.
Ultimate Warrior.
Let them fight. Bring them back. I'm going to pay for Netflix.
By the way, you're going to give him an idea. Don't give it my idea for
you right,
free.
you right.
I'll set up a meeting.
That's so
Might
good.
be difficult for a couple of reasons.
For those
that
of you
said.
watching on YouTube, you can head over to DAZN right now to catch the rest of this fine program, including our breakdown of Fabio Wardley. We thought this was going to lead the show until Mike dropped this bomb. That win over Joseph Parker, you heard me right. In case you didn't know, Fabio Wardley stopped Joseph Parker. We're going to get into that stoppage. Plus, we got Bam Rodriguez.
Bam!
Big Bam. Let's
Stick
go.
around inside the ring.
That was that quick one.